So look, I mean, these are some of the things that are going to happen. There's going to be stuff that we don't expect, that we can't, plan for yet. But I'll tell you one thing you can plan for. You can plan for me to be available almost every day, almost all day. You guys need to realize that what you have here is a golden opportunity to really test your intellect and test who you are and who you want to make yourself become in the future, right? I mean, it might seem like we're just going to be reading stories and learning new words and, still kind of just doing what we were doing in class, except we won't be in class. This video right here could be the last time some of you all ever see the inside of the school. That's a bummer. But it beats the heck out of, making everybody around us sick, I guess. So I appreciate y'all's patience. And then, like I said, I mean, you're going to have to be patient with me because this is brand new. Right now, I'm spending more time talking to a camera in the past couple of minutes than I have in my whole life. It's very strange. It's different. But that's the way that things are going to be.
It's been helpful.
Yeah, what do you think of Teams, real quick?
I like it. It's not the end all be all, but as something to use, it's pretty good. I mean, at this point, I'm really just using it for the attendance, and I have them. I'm looking at it right now. I have them. We've had a couple discussions. They don't seem too involved in that. I'm going to start doing more and more of them are asking me to do lessons. So I'm going to try to do a couple, meetings and go over the work for the day. We'll see how that works out. But I feel I owe it to them.
Yeah. But after not
kind of work.
Say again?
I've just been assigning work, through Focus, and Focus seems to be
the stalwart, right? I mean, it's the champ in all of this stuff, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so you kind of alluded this previously, but Friday, the mayor and then DeSantis too, right? They issued their little safer at home orders. But we haven't been out in the general population, since the 6th of March. You guys been, I mean, you say you're kind of homebodies anyway, so I mean, you've been pretty much staying at home?
Ever since let's see, when we learned we didn't have school, we started to stay, which was the 9th?
It was like that Thursday or
15th or something like that.
Yeah.
Since then, we've been trying not to go to the stores. We went to the stores, actually. We were going to the stores quite a bit, just to get groceries and things like that.
Yeah.
But recently, we've only gone once in the last 2 weeks. I would say once in the last maybe week, something like that. So, and there's it's pretty different now. There's a line there, and they're only letting a certain number of people in, and so I went kind of early and spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So what we're up to this morning is we're gonna head back to Wolfson High School. We're gonna pick up some signs for the seniors to, ostensibly let them know that they're still cared about and that they've done something despite the fact that they don't get the traditional rite of passage of graduation ceremonies, at least not when they should be happening, which is in a few weeks, really. So we're headed up to the school. We're going to get some signs, and we're going to just drive over the city and put them out in the kids' lawns so they can see it and feel some kind of something. I would hope that they hadn't really been forgotten, that there are people who want to recognize the accomplishment of graduating from high school, which, I'm kind of old and crusty, and I would hate to think of my life if I had never measured graduation from high school as the pinnacle of my achievements. And I'm glad it hasn't been. But it still is important, and it's still necessary to mark these milestones in our lives. This is almost exactly how I would want things to be. I can still kind of teach, even though I've had limited interactions with my students, and that bothers me because you do miss out on the interpersonal connections. I mean, there's just something that there's a void, and that's, you know, cannot be filled. And for teachers, I mean, and for students too. You know, I mean, that interplay is vital, and is sometimes undervalued as being able to offer the most sincere learning opportunities that kids and their teachers ever come across. You know, so we're doing this thing, and we're going to see how it works out. Cut for now. We just dropped off our last sign celebrating the accomplishment of the senior class, right? And it's Saturday afternoon. We're headed back to the house, and you know, I hope those kids kind of enjoy it. I hope their families appreciate the gesture at least. I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but you know, those signs did not print themselves. The person who put all the different addresses and things together, it didn't happen just like by snapping a finger, you know. People put some thought and effort into trying to make this a little bit happier time for these kids, and I'm glad to be a part of it. You know, I mean, really, I am. So anyway, I'm going to start my weekend now, and we'll catch y'all later.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Williams. How are you, Walt? How's it going?
Doing well yourself?
I'm trying to. Man, I have had a very hectic, like, 45 minutes, and trying to, you know, decompress and get right. Have you kind of been surprised at do you think the technology is holding up, or do you think there's too many issues with it, for the most part?
I think the technology has worked so far. Once again, people being comfortable with using the various applications or products, and then once again, even with the call dropping, I think the infrastructure may. You probably still want to increase infrastructure. Even like I said, in my house, my Wi-Fi, I noticed 4 laptops. Then if you have your Alexa on,
And the
if you have
phones.
smart TV, anything of that nature. So the technology has served its purpose. There's more bandwidth, perhaps.
So one of the things that I've kind of been confronted with is the value of my education in this experience. If I did not have my degree, if I did not have my job, I would not have the security and stability that I enjoy right now. And that's the main thing that I want the kids to pick up from this. It's that an education can somewhat insulate you from unforeseen events. Because I know that I'm living better than most of my students at this point in time. Especially my kids, you know what I mean? Because I'm teaching kids who are of the lower socioeconomic status and all that, even in our school. Have you thought much about that during this time? The value of your education.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I very much so value my education. I am a teacher as well as my wife is a teacher. So we're in a unique circumstance where we're both working from home, but we're both afforded the opportunity to still work without being furloughed, with compensation, with health benefits, with the ability, the knowledge, and the time to facilitate or help facilitate the learn or the completion of tasks for my daughters, Victoria and Vanessa. So I'm very grateful, very fortunate of having education, of being in the education profession. Uh, Certainly, the more education or skill sets you have, you can be afforded opportunity to produce your work or your products without necessarily having an interruption of income. So those people that receive education, education could be formal, education could be 2-year degree, take my boat out and do a little fishing.
Talk to me about the brisket, man, because I went ahead and I bought one the other day, and I was going to try to cook it tomorrow. What do I need to worry about? What do I need to? So I need some pointers.
The biggest thing with my brisket is I try to keep my heat at 300 degrees, and then just let it alone. Kind of, I refuel my fire about every 30 minutes. I'll add a handful of coals on it. It's always indirect heat. I use a very traditional rub, salt and black pepper, and I take it out before I put it on the grill. I try to get it at room temperature so it'll have an even cooking. So don't take it straight out of the refrigerator and onto the grill. Kind of take it out about an hour and a half before. And I've only done parts of brisket. I'm not up to a whole brisket.
Oh, okay. Because I got a flat too.
I'll do. Okay. Yes, sir.
So I'm looking forward to it.
And use a little oak with charcoal, smoke it, indirect heat, and I actually have a drip pan under there, just to add a little extra moisture to it.
Okay.
And let it go.
Do you like take it off a little bit and then wrap it in either the paper or the foil and then put it in the cooler like you seen that mess before? I've been watching too much Stephen
Texas
Reichman.
Crunch on it. Well, no, sir. Wrapping it with foil or butcher paper. Some people do a complete. Well, I haven't seen too many people do a complete cook with it because you want to smoke it first. But the last hour and a half, I wrap it with aluminum foil.
Okay.
And keep it on my grill. That's referred to as a Texas Crunch.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
I don't think you're mistaken.
Allows it to break down those hard fibers, and then of course you take it off. You can leave it wrapped in foil and let it come down to temperature, allowing it to rest, and then it's pretty juicy.
Okay, I'm looking for. I'll let you know how I do with that tomorrow. What kind of sides would you suggest, man?
Sides?
Yeah.
I prefer with barbecue. I prefer potato salad and actually black-eyed peas. I love black-eyed peas. Potato salad, black-eyed peas, or maybe even some nice collard greens.
So kind of just simple and southern, pretty much.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
What sides do you normally have?
I've been trying to figure out. I mean, sometimes you try to get a little bit fancy with stuff. I was thinking maybe like a cucumber salad,
Yes, sir.
and then like almost like a German potato salad. You know about that at all? It's not.
I didn't hear you say that again.
A German potato salad. It's more kind of vinegary.
German.
Yeah, potato salad.
I haven't had that.
Okay, yeah. It's kind of vinegary.
Not familiar with it.
Got some bacon in it and stuff like that. It's a different kind of thing. I mean, like I said, just a little bit much. But I definitely could be down with some greens. Smoked turkey or ham to season your greens.
I do both, but I probably lean towards the turkey.
Okay. Cool. So,
yes, sir.
What you think is going to be your next big thing that you're going to try on the grill?
Next thing that I haven't cooked, I need to do a pork butt. I haven't done a pork butt, but I've talked to a friend of mine. Now that is a science. You actually need to have a meat probe and probably 8 to 12 hours to make sure you do that right. So that's probably the next step.
They got a crazy sale at the Winn-Dixie, 99 cents a pound.
Yes, sir.
So on the big old pork butts. So, I was looking at some of them and they were like $9 almost for, about a 9-pound roast. That would be something else.
Yes, sir.
So that's cool. Well, look, Walt, thank you very much for visiting with me, man. I'll make sure that you get, a link to the copy of the documentary when we finally upload it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And look, one day I look forward to having you over to my garage, and I look forward to being over at your garage one day too.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Well, look, have a nice evening, and go enjoy your time with your family, man. And thank you again.
Yes, sir. You as well.
All right.
Tell everyone I say hello.
I certainly will.
All right. Later.
Later.
All right.
There we go. He ain't say goodbye. There it is. Awesome. I think that worked out, huh? B. Hey, there we go.
Hey.
Hey, there I am.
Hey.
And there you are. Yeah.
Hey.
I found out today that's called the grandma face.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's one of the things. Well, I mean, it's the optics. It's just the cameras. So how's it going, man?
It's going all right. How
Yeah.
about y'all?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I haven't really had any kind of negative impacts at all. I mean, I'm not one of these people that goes off all the time anyway, and so staying at home is really what I would prefer to do. But it is different missing out on the social aspects. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
True.
And a flat screen, while it's cool to see you and talk, right? I mean, there is a difference,
Well, we're missing out on a lot of the language that we use to communicate with one another. That famous one called body language, and it's part of being social.
That is very true.
It's I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the Saturday. I ran around. I had 5 students that I had to take their senior signs to, and
Right.
their faces was really cool.
That's
And
cool.
then our athletic trainer, Mr. Neeson, his wife had an emergency and had to go to the hospital, but nothing major.
Okay.
She was fine. She's a new mother, and
Oh wow.
I guess in the scaredness of it all, when something little happens, you got to take care of it. So they did, but everything was good.
All right. Well, that's nice.
It was like a hydration thing.
Oh, yeah. But on the
I told
little
him
one or on her?
I told him he needed to be a better trainer.
Yeah, you gotta keep everybody hydrated. That's your main thing here.
I've changed all my lights in my house. See how bright that is?
I do.
LED.
Yeah.
LED. I've LED'd the crap out of my house.
Yeah.
Got 7 more people in this house,
You better.
and my electric bill has only gone up like $65.
You charging them for the extra?
No, no, but when he offers to buy dinner, I
You let him?
don't say no. I got it.
Yeah. I mean,
And then I got my there's my TA.
right.
That's Blue, the old guy. So no, I mean, it reminds me of the fact that if you don't like something, give it a few minutes, it'll change.
Yeah.
I think this is a definite huge life lesson that the only thing inevitable is change.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, we got death and taxes also, but and people have been saying that for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
We didn't invent it.
Nope.
Matter of fact, I don't think I've said anything that I've invented. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
just in case I have any students that are really, we've gotten a couple emails, and this does concern me. And
Yeah.
if I get a little emotional, so what? It's me. I think that I've heard that some of y'all aren't even getting on video games. I think some of the ones that were talked about probably aren't even going to watch this video. But I want you to understand that if you're watching this video and you have friends, and I'm not talking about best buddy kind of friends, just associates. If you got somebody that you know through Instagram or what have you, I think if we all reach out and just tell somebody that they're not alone.
Yeah.
We're all around. It's going to be huge. LaVorce the other day. He was kind of feeling down, and I was going to the grocery store, and I'm like, and he was just real moody, and I could tell.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, I'm at a grocery store. You want anything? And he goes, I could probably use some comfort food. I'm like, okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Those work.
Yes, and he and I,
Yeah, I could tell.
we hid them.
Oh, there it is.
We didn't share.
That's all right.
We were hoarding the oatmeal cakes. No, but there's a lot of people that not physically hurting.
Yeah.
Emotionally hurting. My son, for those of you who know me, my son's a type 1 diabetic. His fiance is a cancer survivor. They're millennials. This thing has scared the crap out of them. They have not done functions with family. They've isolated themselves. It's really bad because my wife, I see my wife where all she wants to do is hug them.
Right.
But yet they won't even make themselves available to hug. And then I watch how they are. So my wife's birthday was Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
And they showed up for her birthday.
Wow.
And my wife put her arms around my son and just started crying. I think that part of what I'm trying to say to everybody is that this is tough. It's tough because it's different, and it's tough because we feel isolated. Just because we're physically isolated doesn't necessarily mean we have to be emotionally isolated. And part of why my son showed up was because I called him. And I'm like, hey, communication is key.
Yeah.
If we invite you to come over for family dinner and you don't feel comfortable with that, just say, I don't feel comfortable with that, but I love you, and maybe y'all can call me or something like that, or when everybody's around, I'll call so I can FaceTime or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't browbeat him or anything.
Sure.
And he really started thinking about it, and he's like, Dad, it was really good hearing your voice. I get it. And he's talked to me and my wife and his brother and his sister every day since. He's made it a point because it's like it. And he spends his job is with a financial institution.
Yeah.
And his day is spent dealing with people and their finances and their investments. And he hates being on the phone. And I'm like, well, then quit looking at it as being on the phone when you call family. Why don't you just look at it as like, I'm staying connected.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm saying to all of y'all, everybody who's watching this. Stay connected. If you're watching this and you know somebody who's not watching this, tell them to check it out. They might think I'm just stupid. They might think whatever they want. I really don't care. It's just that I think what I really want you to do is just make the act of of contacting someone else. It's not the video that's important. It's the reaching out and sharing that's important. And, everybody who's watching this, that's a student, they know that Mr. Parker's my bestie at school. And we don't hide that. Yeah. So, we've been talking a whole lot. We sit for hours on the keyboard talking about y'all.
Yeah, about how we kind of bored because y'all don't come visit.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Nobody wants to come over and watch my dog or anything. I got my pool is awesome. Yeah, I'm redoing my garage.
Well, and see, that's one of the points that I tried to make with the kids. How our education has allowed us some stability and security that we know that some of our students do not enjoy right now. And that's been one of those things that it can hit you real hard sometimes. I'm not special. I simply just did, the bare minimum I think that society expects. And I've been able to, be pretty comfortable. And so whenever I do think about the kids who don't have that level of stability and comfort, things get kind of real pretty quickly,
And now you're going to take me down that sidewalk. I delivered signs a couple weeks ago. We talked about. I showed the signs. I walked around some places where I actually thought I was going to get a contact eye. And there was people that were saying, adults in education going, oh, I wouldn't go around there. Well, it's kind of funny because
that's where the kids.
There's not a place in this city, and I'm even talking about Cleveland Arms. I'd go into Cleveland Arms for a student, and there's a lot of things. I'm the wrong color and the wrong size, and I drive a pickup truck that's not going to cut it there. But for my students, I would. No, there's some people. I don't know. Maybe that's part of what we need to do. We need to figure out a way of not being babysitters and not being meal providers, but being some soul huggers or something. They are our future. They one day will be in charge, and how are we helping them be them?
Yeah, well, the best them they can be.
Yeah. Now, the anxiety thing. I wish I could help with the anxiety, but I will tell you this about anxiety when dealing with it with myself. Most anxiety comes from pride, and pride will take us into that questioning and trying to find answers and place blame, where if we can get some of these young people just to understand there's no one to blame. And it's not about being proud. It's about being a human. And let us be human too. You know, if you got an issue, you need to talk. You know, there's 500 different ways to get a hold of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me. And all I got to hear is I need to talk. And, you know, I won't be able to give you professional opinions, but I will give you a heart that cares.
And I guess that's what we're really seeing. Maybe that's what the value of the teacher is now. Maybe that's what it'll become more now.
But wasn't it always?
I think so. I mean, you can't do this job if you don't have some compassion and empathy. You know? I was one of the kids.
Well, there's some.
And I can't understand that. I can't understand. Just like whenever somebody will say, you know, teachers don't do this or this teacher doesn't do that, it blows my mind. I cannot imagine how someone would not take our job, our profession, seriously, and give it the respect that it deserves, on every level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's look at where that comes from. It comes from politicians that is backed by the media,
Yeah.
that is endorsed by the parents, or taxpayers, or voters, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the parents are tax-paying voters, and they basically say we're not important because we're babysitters. Well, hey, I got a simple one for that.
Yeah.
Pay me $5 a head per hour, like you would a babysitter.
Yeah.
And let's see who's getting by cheaper.
Yeah.
And I don't even need a degree to be a babysitter.
No.
Talk about some of these young people worried about how the cost of their cost of college. What about the value of a diploma?
Yeah. Well, and see, that's one of the things. I mean, one of the things I got the kids to do was to try to fill out their FAFSA so they could get the Pell Grant and go to school. I was like,
Right.
look, most of you qualify for a free 4-year degree, provided to you by your fellow Americans.
Yes, definitely Floridians.
Yeah, I mean, you get your tuition, you get some books, and you get about $1,200 cash in your pocket to help out. There's really no reason to not fill that paperwork out. I told you I talked with Walt last week.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of grilling. I've been doing a lot of grilling too. I did a brisket in the smoker last week. Man.
Are you still eating it?
Oh no, man, it's gone.
Oh,
Well, because we only had the flat, and I'm not getting a huge hunk of meat, right?
Oh.
But we did the flat, man, and that was so good.
Yeah, we do that kind of shopping at Costco and Restaurant Depot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get this size by accident.
They said probably it's dedication.
Yes. I am 100% in support of my bride.
Indeed. All right, so let's see. How do we want to try to wrap it up for now?
I don't know. You know me. I'll talk for hours.
Yeah, me
So-
too. I'm having a nice time. You know what I mean?
What the? Let me ask you some questions.
All right.
Because you have some talents that are impressive, and there's some things, and I might actually shine a little bit of light of you to these people that are viewing.
All right.
Number one, without a doubt, you're one of the most lyrical people I've ever met in my entire life. Your grammar is beyond I don't see. I can't even think of the right words, but you've got your vocabulary and just your word craft and everything that goes around with it. You take people and you can take people and insult them, and they don't know what you're saying, and they just go by your tone, and you could say it with a nicer tone, but absolutely character assassinate them lyrically, and they thank you for it.
I like to consider holding up a mirror to them.
Well,
you know.
But then there's a time when you might be saying something, but because you're not happy about it, you're saying, listen, I believe more in you than you're believing in yourself right now. You say it obviously with better words, but then people get all pissy about it because they feel like you are assassinating their character. So you have that ability. Now, is that something you've always had, or is it something that you felt that you wanted to actually spend time developing?
I don't spend enough time, I don't think, with my words. And I definitely don't make. I don't. Exploit is a bad word, kind of, but I don't. I haven't really profited from my loquaciousness, you know. But yeah, I essentially I really think I'm kind of a lazy dude. You know what I mean? Because I do have talent, and I know that. But what have I really done with it? You know
Well, that's not really what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, how did you develop it? When did this happen? Have you always been this? When you were in grade school, were you talking this way to your teachers? Or did you have a family member that would interact with you very much the way you communicate? Or
I can only think that it had to be all of that. You know, I mean, it had to be everything that I experienced, all of the people I came into contact with, that made me what I am right now. I always have enjoyed writing. I mean, I know that. You know, I've got examples of me writing as like in the 5th grade, and then later on, and then at junior college and stuff like that. But I don't feel like I utilize it as much as I should. You know. But
I get it.
I can only think that, I mean, really, I can't pick out any specific thing. In my mind, it has to be all of those things. Because if you change any of it, if I was born on the 4th of June instead of the 5th of June, well, I might not have been named Milton. Because I was named after my great grandfather, who I never met, but he died on the same date I was born. So, I mean, events that happened before I even got onto the planet would eventually, work into my DNA, my personality. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And what's really funny is that this is why you and I are good friends. And these people can see this, is that we both dissect people. And
metaphorically.
Yes. And so we intellectually dissect people, and we look at them, and we don't look at them as one single aspect. We look at the whole. And you and I do it in different ways. But what's really funny is sometimes you're not comfortable being dissected.
No, I mean, well, okay, so like the junk that I posted yesterday,
Yeah.
the little sardonic cartoon, that's more of what I'd let people see.
Right.
But yesterday, one of the kids finished his documentary, and whenever I came up with this assignment, I was like, oh well, I want the kids to do something that might be kind of fun. I don't want them to feel like too taxed over. I don't want to overwhelm them because they're seniors and they're trying to get out of here, and I want them out of here so they can, spread their wings and do all that other stuff. But man, I'm looking at it. I looked at what he did, and it was nothing special. Nothing technically special. But
But he did it.
he did it. And
He did it.
I got to see all of these different. He had like 8 different people he interviewed, and they were all kids. And
But he did it.
exactly, and he.
There's celebration in that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. I was overwhelmed with emotion, just realizing what the idea of the documentary meant. And it's not. It was a surprise for me. I had no intentions of, oh well, these are going to change the world, and this is going to be the best thing that ever happens to anybody.
It's that Christmas present. It's like, we get Christmas presents all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if your family's like mine, but, come Christmas time, everybody gets presents. The key is who's going to get the present that makes them cry.
Yeah.
And we always try to make sure that we have at least one person we make cry.
In a good way.
Because
Yes.
it's one of those things where a lot of our students think that we assign stuff as busy work, but what they don't understand, especially your students right now who've never had you before, you have your projects that you come in and you do every year, but they're fun projects, but you let them go on. We talk about music lyrics, we talk about drafts, and it all works and it's all fun. But how much plagiarism goes on is absolutely ridiculous. You can't plagiarize a documentary.
No, and see, that was one of the really cool things. This was a pure, sincere expression of what I asked for, and I gave very little direction.
Right. I remember that.
And so whatever they come up with is coming right out of here. And I don't know that I'll be able to watch the documentaries without, a box of tissues around.
But that's fine.
That's
good.
It was,
That's their gift. That's the gift that we as educators are looking for. I don't need the money. Y'all think that we give you very manila things to do for your grade.
yeah.
Well, no. We ask for you to give us you. But yet you want to give us whatever Google gives you or whatever your friend just airdropped to you.
Right.
And here's the truth. I've got a lot of people that have gotten D's because that's what they did. And I've got people that didn't get that let's say 5 questions, they only got 2 of them right.
Yeah.
But they were all their answers getting B's because they're giving me themselves.
Yep. We do have that latitude.
Well, I give them, and it's not like I'm not correcting what their answers are because
Right.
I do that. But I can tell who's giving me true work and who's fluffing it.
Right.
I also know that that you have a son there, Daniel, my brother, that is
Looking like
he
Shaggy.
is an artist. He is an artist. He is a photojournalist, and he is expanding his horizons, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're gonna clump together one big documentary, right, Daniel?
Yeah, he's in charge of the editing.
Okay. Well, I think that it's another one of those things. What a lot of students don't understand about you, and one thing that's where I'm kind of helping this for a moment, is that you're all about the individual, and if a person shows effort towards their individuality, you hold that in the most highest. And just like this student, he's the first one to finish the documentary, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying this, it absolutely floored you that somebody actually even did it. Number one. Number two, how it went was what got you. Because it got that individualism. You know, hey, there's an old story about a guy who's walking down the beach, and he comes up on this little girl, and this little girl's picking stuff up and throwing in the water. As he gets closer, he notices that there's starfish all over the sand. I mean, the beach is just loaded with them.
Yeah.
You can't even take a step without stepping on one or anything like that. And the man sits there and watches this little girl throwing these starfish, picking them up one at a time, throwing them back in the ocean. And he watched this for about a good 10, 15 minutes, and he was just astounded at how diligently she was working on getting as many starfish back into the water as she possibly could. And then finally the old guy says, "Little girl, there's no way you can make any kind of difference here. There's way too many that are stranded on the beach for you to make a difference." And this little girl, about 7 or 8 years old, picks up a starfish, looks up at the man, throws it in the water, and says, "Made a difference to that one."
Yep. That's the power of stories, man. That's what I love about literature.
Well, you got your student. You got one.
Yeah.
And it mattered.
Yep.
We're lucky.
We are.
And we will keep on picking up the starfish because we got a lot of stars. We just keep fishing for them.
That's awesome. Oh, man. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you for the invite. Maybe we don't do this so we can speak more in adult tones.
Yeah, we can do the unplugged or the unedited version later on.
The unedited sequel for dual enrollment students who have already passed.
There it is.
Or who have already gone on to the. Let's do it for Daniel.
Well, I can tell you, man, it's difficult to kind of hold my tongue, you know, because I mean, you speak of my ability to turn a phrase. Well, I mean, those words are some of my favorite words.
Well, we had a discussion about that the other day. My daughter's about what it's kind of funny because she and her fiance took engagement photos.
Yeah.
And the woman, and Daniel, you can hear this because just in case you ever do wedding
He's
pictures.
done a couple.
This photographer looked at it. Now, my daughter's a photographer too, but she never thought about that. And she said the photographer, they were doing it up close and kind of serious, but yet she wanted to get a different aspect. It was a little bit more the true them. Now, this is what's odd.
Yeah.
How she did it. And then this is more psychological than anything else. He said, some of those are my favorite words. Well, what the photographer told both of them was, okay, what I want y'all to do is get close like you're hugging, and then I want you to look at each other's eye. I'm going to count to 3, and then I want you to say your favorite cuss word. and and they did it, and she was showing us the picture that they took when they said that.
Right.
It's one of the best pictures that they have because it did. It shows them wrong.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we can't use those kind of words, but you know, Milt Parker, you're a good man. I appreciate the invitation. Daniel, my brother, I'm sure that you will edit some of this so I don't look as fat.
He ain't a magic maker.
All right.
you.
Love you too.
We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right.
All right. You have to bring the Jeep over.
I
All
will.
right.
I will. If Daniel buys lunch.
Well, we'll provide lunch. How about that?
Wow.
We'll put another.
Him.
We'll put
an
another
enabling
brisket.
him. He owes me a lunch anyway.
Uh oh.
I'm sure somehow. What did he say?
He says he'll work the grill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is the garbage man.
just as long as Cameron's not pouring the Kool-Aid, because I'm not sure we all want to drink the Kool-Aid that Cameron's pouring.
You know what I'm saying? It's all right though.
All right. Tell Heather I said hi.
I will, man.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.